Well, I mean, as long as the IRS doesn't find out about all that crypto earnings, I don't think they're going to care. Oh, are we live? We're live. Hey
Ah,
guys, welcome to
yes.
the Level With Me podcast. Totally not talking about taxes or tax season or anything like that.
I've actually been dealing with taxes. I know you're insinuating something, but over the last couple of days, which has been fun, love good old tax season.
Yeah, this is one of those things where I'm like, I wouldn't mind if AI just did it for me, Just have my AI tax agent just handle it. I still have my tax guy, I hope he doesn't listen to this podcast. He's going to be like, "What the heck, dude? You trying to
What
put me out
the
of business?"
hell?
But do you ever read up where like other countries are just like, "Yeah, so like we just get a bill at the end of the year or it just like gets
Well,
deducted or
it is
whatever."
funny because if you do your taxes and then they'll be like, "Oh, you actually owe us more." And it's like, "Wait a
Yeah.
second, if you knew how much I needed to pay, why are you requiring me to go through this entire extensive process?" So, if we could just, get rid of the middleman, that'd be
Yeah.
great.
Dude, every single year there's like either they owe me like $100 or I owe them $100, whichever way it goes. And I'm like, yeah, if you guys knew, why am I paying this dude to do it all for me? You clearly know better. Like, it's so ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm not it's wild.
Yeah. Although I will say, what's the tax company that does TurboTax? Intuit, I think.
Yep.
Um they're like known for lobbying heavily to the
Yeah.
government to
Oh,
like
100%.
make it really complicated. They're like,
My favorite
yeah,
commercials are the ones where like, we've made it so easy for us. Like you also lobbied so that you can make it so easy for us because it makes you a ton of money.
yeah, it's straight up evil. It's straight up evil, Matt. You know what else is evil? Hackers. Hackers are evil. Those
Okay.
hackers that hacked into the Rockstar servers and
How
they
many
got
times is Rockstar gonna get hacked and then and then the full weight of $1 billion organization descends upon the hackers?
I mean, I feel bad for Rockstar in the sense that like because they are so successful, they have the biggest target on their back, right? If a hacker group is like, if we're going to hack anyone, may as well be Grand Theft Auto 6 makers, Rockstar, and then we'll threaten them with this silly pay us or we'll leak all this sensitive info.
Right, right.
So we're recording the podcast on the 13th, which is Monday, and the pay by date is tomorrow, Tuesday.
Oh.
Now, Rockstar says that
They're
the
not.
info that they hacked is like nothing, like they don't care
Mhm.
or whatever, but maybe they're bluffing. I don't know. Who knows? I mean, what's it going to be?
Wasn't
Right?
there like a kid or something like that somehow got information he wasn't supposed to? It was like an actual
Yeah, I remember that
like
one.
yeah, it was a while ago, but I think it was Rockstar related. It's like,
Yeah,
are you really threatening Rockstar?
dude. I mean, a lot of technical skills and no social skills can lead you down some rough paths in life.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds
This
like Rockstar needs to tighten up their security though, because this happens on the regular.
Yeah, I don't know what you can do to hacking's only going to get worse, man. It's only going to get crazier. So I was listening to an actual hacking debate where you know how if you've been following AI stuff, Anthropic held back their latest model of Claude because they said it was too dangerous. So they're like
Oh.
the new Claude can like hack in and find all these system vulnerabilities. And basically, like, you could just get it and be like, hack into Microsoft for me or something. And like, if you could convince it to do it, it would, and like get you tons of data. So it was a dangerous system.
Does seem quite dangerous, yeah.
Yeah. AI is notoriously easy to trick into doing all kinds of bad things. So it was a dangerous system. And then I saw hackers or programmers rather arguing about whether or not it was actually good. And they're like, no, this is super easy. But they're like, anybody who's good at coding or hacking can find all these vulnerabilities just as easy, if not easier than Claude or whatever. But then the counter argument is like, yeah, but only if you're a high tier programmer and only if you're interested in finding system vulnerabilities, which is like a much smaller percentage of the human race than everybody who can use Claude. So
Right.
yeah, basically the argument is like, all of a sudden you're putting like a high level programming skill set in the hands of a 13-year-old and they're going to go crazy with it. So that's the danger essentially that Anthropic was trying to stop, allegedly. Allegedly.
Fun. The future.
Yeah. At least they held it back, right? At least they didn't push it out the door. So good on them, I guess, for, not pushing forward this version of the apocalypse quite yet. It'll come, but it'll give us another month to prepare for it.
Hopefully longer than that.
Yeah. Shiny Hunters is the name of that hacking group.
Oh.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
All right, fair enough.
I don't know, if you want to know what cool elite hacking groups are called these days. Did you remember, like, it was over a year ago, maybe almost 2 years ago at this point, where like Epic got like $1.5 billion from Disney in this like massive.
For what?
Well, I'll tell you for what, Matt, for making some games. But back then we had no idea what it was. They're like just some big game deal, and Epic was going to do.
Oh, they were collaborating with each other. Okay.
Yeah. But Disney basically forked over a ton of money, and Epic was like, all right, bunch of games coming up. And then we didn't hear anything about it. So we've gotten our first rumblings about what the first game is going to be. Apparently, they're working on 3 Disney-themed games. The first one is going to be a Disney-themed extraction shooter.
That's what I'm talking about. I want to play as Donald Duck, and we're going to take out Mickey Mouse. Let's go.
Yeah.
How
Mickey
is
Mouse
that going to work?
I don't know. Mickey Mouse running around going like, ho, I shot you, and like, here's the thing.
That's what that happening.
No. I mean, everybody thinks that at first when they hear Disney, right? You hear Mickey Mouse and Goofy, but Disney is also Marvel. Disney is also Star Wars. Disney
everything.
Yeah, it's a ton of stuff now. So, I mean, yeah, if you can fly around as Iron Man in an extraction shooter, that sounds more appealing than Goofy with a giant wooden mallet or something,
Right. So there could be something there. There could be.
I'm not going to, I won't write off any Disney games, like they have just as much chance of succeeding or failing as any other company, in my opinion. And if they're splitting them 1.5 billion 3 ways amongst 3 different games or however that goes, that's a pretty high end title that they're going to make there. So
for sure.
We'll see. Is anybody excited to hear the words extraction shooter these days? Like, I don't, it's not a selling point, but
it's funny you say that because like there's some either Tarkov devs or associated with Tarkov. They're making a extraction sci-fi shooter, and it's like, we're branching out. We're branching out. I see. Really spreading our wings here.
I saw some of their media for it, and I was like, okay, that kind of looks cool. I think it's because I'm just so sick of the Milsim look for an extraction shooter.
All right, fair enough.
Even though I've been like enjoying Gray Zone Warfare a bit lately, and I think it's got some merit to it, I'm still just kind of tired of everything being sort of that Milsim look. Like you could put every Milsim that's ever been made side by side in a screenshot, and you'd be like, I don't know which one is which, man. They all look the same.
They do look very samey. That said, all of the big extraction shooters right now aren't really Milsim except for Tarkov. You have Arc Raiders and you have Marathon, and they're both definitely not Milsim.
Although I just dropped a video moments before this pod recording with you, so I don't blame you for not being up on all the news, Matt.
I'm not up to date on your content in the last hour.
But Gray Zone has overtaken Marathon in concurrent players.
Oh, good for them. Yeah,
so
they've
just
been doing
saying,
really well. The update has been pretty solid.
Yeah.
I actually might play that tonight.
So what I'm saying is a Milsim is actually in the top echelons of extraction shooters right now.
It's true. Gray Zone has kind of drifted away from being a true kind of extraction shooter. It's now more of like a
it's kind of a mission running. Yeah. Mission running with optional PvP kind of. I guess not optional if somebody shoots at you, but you can sort of push yourself more towards PvP if you would like versus non. And they're totally different too. And I like that because they're like extraction, but you're not extracting out of the level. You're just going somewhere else into the level that is more secure, but not 100% secure. So
you kind of just live in the world.
Yeah. I like it. I think I want to give Gray Zone a bit of a shout out because they could have cut and run. Their early access success.
They made a lot of money.
was huge. I think they like made a crap load of money, like a mountain of money. And they could have easily just been like, "Oh, player retention,
slow updates.
We're gonna
This is all right. This is 1.0 and it's just really nothing at all."
Yeah, and then just shut the game down. And you don't even have to deliver a 1.0, really. Like, I mean, that's the whole thing of an early access game is the buyer's still taking a risk, right? Plenty of games that never make it a 1.0. So they stuck with it, though. Like, they didn't have to. They stuck with it. And, you know, if you were looking at this player count metrics or something, you would have been like, they're crazy to do this. Like, this game's never going to come back. But they're sticking with the idea. They're pushing it forward. And I think their latest update has shown a huge amount of improvements and made the game far more accessible than it was initially, which was like,
they're definitely going the right direction. They've made, for sure. They've got a good one on their hands right now. I can see the sauce now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's kind of what the original game was like, where you're like, okay, it looks nice. It doesn't perform well, but it looks really nice. And I kind of see maybe where I'm not entirely sure what the game's supposed to be. You know, you play it for like 2 hours and you're like, I think I did everything. And so, it was just so hard to figure out what they were trying to do, even though they had sort of a write-up on what it was. But you know what I think is interesting is like, still as part of the game's design ideas, which they've talked about, is sort of like a stalker-ish type thing in the middle, where there's like this sort of something zone, right? And it's stuff happens there, and it sounds sort of paranormally, which sounds cool. It's just interesting because currently the game is very tactical, right?
Yep.
So you're like,
it plays it straight for the most part.
For the most part, yeah. So I'm like, is it gonna go from tactical to like full on stalker anomalies, like for endgame?
I don't think so. I think because there's some quests that I've done that allude to like worshiping stuff, and I don't know if it's a glitch or not, but I went to one part of the map and it straight up sounded like weird howling out in the distance, and I'm like, this might just be a audio glitch or whatnot. But I think they're trying to like allude to there being something more going on that's not necessarily your standard realistic FPS title.
Yeah, because right now it's just kind of faction warfare over stuff. Jungle villages. They're like, my jungle village. No, my jungle village. Let's throw tons of money and lives at fighting over these jungle villages. And you're like, okay. Yeah, that seems plausible. I'm
excited for it. I'm excited for the future of it.
Yeah. So, did you play the latest update at all?
I did, yeah. Yep.
Okay. Are you going to do a little more tonight?
I might, yeah.
Cool.
It's a good time.
Yeah. I see, since we're in the milsim subject here, I see a little word called Bellum on your notes over there.
Yes. Bellum, I played it last night with a bunch of the lads, like Operator Drewski, Tomographic, Clean, Klein, Karma, just bunch of like actual gamers who are very much invested into that kind of tactical experience, and
literally invested. Drewski and Karma are actual game investors of Bellum.
Right. It's basically kind of like their game, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it is squad, but even like further beyond squad in terms of immersion and realism, where there isn't like vehicles, and there might be vehicles that they introduced. I think there was talks of like transport vehicles and stuff like that, but that's not going to be like the main focus. But you have squads, and you've got leaders within the squad, and then you kind of have like a command structure where the command talks to the squads, just like you would in Hell Let Loose or Squad. And within that squad, you also have like alpha and then your beta, blue and red. And so what was fascinating is, and I've never experienced this in any other video game, and it could be because I just don't hang out with the right crowd, I guess. We were moving around as a unit, and we were like pushing and like going back and forth on these objectives in a way that I have never truly ever done in a video game before. It was incredibly immersive and chaos at the same time. It was very, very fun. I'm not.
What do you think led to your cohesion versus any other game?
So a lot of the other games, if you die, you can just spawn back at a fob or whatever, and it might take you a long time to get back to the front lines, right? It does reduce a ticket for your team, but at the end of the day, a death isn't that influential. In this game, you can only die 3 times. If one faction, you can die 4 times technically. You get 4 spawns, but you can only spawn back in essentially twice. And so it means that if you get downed, there is a big incentive for you to not respawn, because if you run out of revives, you have to leave the server, or you can just sit there and wait for the server, like for the round to end, right? And that could be 10 minutes, that could be another 20, 30, depending on how aggressive you were, right? And so that, I don't know if that alone was it, but then they have like medics, and medics in this game have like blood bags and tourniquets, and you need to you drag your teammate back to cover. And so there is a really big incentive to work and coordinate with amongst your squad, where it's like your gunner went down, we really need that gunner back up because they're going to be able to provide suppression. So you need to get that medic to go over there, drag them behind cover, get them back up on their feet while you're also so there's like the systems that they have in place allow for that unit cohesion, and it requires it, because once you're out, you're out.
That's a really cool element that I'm trying to think on tactical milsim games that oddly is not as common, because they all kind of come from like a Project Reality Foundation, which is sort of a Battlefield Foundation, which is a ticket-based system, and everybody shares the tickets. So you can have Leroy Jenkins on your team who's killing all your tickets, and then Tactical Timio out there who only dies once. And you're like, why'd we lose, dude? Like, I'm downing people, I'm playing like a master. And it's like, oh, it was Leroy, man. He kept running in a battle. But this system seems to sort of prevent that and incentivize you working together and staying alive, which in these types of games means like when somebody goes down, you figure out a way to get smoke on their body, cover the medic that goes out to like drag them out, find a good place to cover to revive them, set up suppressing fire lines and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, when it works, it's really cool.
What I think also assists in helping with this is that it is really difficult to know when you've killed someone in this game, because there is so much foliage and no one has ACOGs, no one has higher optics. Everything is like pretty close. So if you see some people off on a hill out in the distance, like you take shots at them and you hope for the best, and you may have been able to take them out. But in my entire time playing, I could like guarantee that I got a kill only a couple of times. A lot of it was just, I see movement in the bush, in the brush, I'm laying MG fire in that direction, and I'm probably doing a lot of damage. I'm doing work, but I don't know if I've actually taken them out, because it's going for that. There's like no HUD. There's literally no HUD. The only thing is you've got a little wrist thing that will show you little icons of your teammates nearby, and that's it. So it is like very hardcore, very much like immersive because of that. Yesterday, because I played it yesterday was one of the most immersive FPS experiences that I've had for a tactical military game ever. And I think it was because of the callouts. It was because of my teammates. We had people that were like, I'm not a military guy. Obviously, I would do well in the military. But these people it literally felt like I was like, all right, they're like, get off the ground, because I was using an MG and he was guiding me around, and he would give me ammo as I was like, dude, it was nuts. And all the while explosions are happening, like the squad leaders making call outs for like team B or B squad to move over to the buildings to cover fire, teammate back up. And then it was bananas.
Sick. So, it sounds like they're cooking over there.
They're definitely cooking. Speaking of sauce, they definitely got something going. The biggest thing I'm worried about is, can they make it accessible for people to get that kind of coordination for your average person?
Yeah. I found, when you just rando join a squad game, there's usually sometimes you'll end up in a situation where nobody wants to be squad leader. And you just want to be the guy who's like, I'm along for the ride, tell me what to do. But often you'll have a pretty core group, and the more dedicated players will start becoming squad leaders, and they'll be like, all right, guys, like we're going to take B, like, all right, we need this squad makeup, and like you guys go here, you go there. And often that seems to be the case. So while you might not have an entire squad that is working that cohesively, you'll at least have a squad leader who's like pretty on point and good about it. But then your experience can be very much dictated by the quality of that squad leader, where you're like, oh, this guy sucks, man. He's like, just got us guarding this, like, you know, this outhouse somewhere, and we're not doing anything, you know?
So, like I said, it is similar to Squad, and like very much Squad and Hell at least, more Squads than Hell at least. But I've never had anything like this in those games that I experienced, and could just be the people I was playing with. But I think it felt much more intimate. It felt like more of we needed to work as a squad to be successful, and it was really cool. So I wish them the best. I really think people should keep their eye on this if they're looking for that kind of experience. It's not going to be for everyone though. If you're looking for a high stakes, you know, or action packed, there's action, but it is definitely slower as well. You're gonna have a lot of downtime. We were just crawling through the mud, trying to get a flank off, and then you could just die, and then that's it. And you're, you know,
yeah.
So,
well, that's cool. You should, you know, on your remarks regarding no kill confirmation, you know, you're just shooting at stuff. You should DM Drewski and be like, and send him like a link to what COD does, you know, where they have the little sound that goes every time you get a bullet hit, and it makes like a little X mark on the screen.
And there should be an X, yeah.
And then when you get the kill,
put like a health bar down there too.
Health bar, and then when you get the kill, like a little skull shows up. On the screen, and maybe that skull.
And then a big achievement that pops up that says like, you know, Avenger when you took out the guy that killed your teammate. And comeback kill, and then also like if you get a headshot, it's got like a little hole in the skull, so you know.
Anyway, just some good notes for them if they're listening. Though I think that would improve the game. I will admit, in these types of games, I find it somewhat frustrating when I like have no idea. And then like at the very end of the round, you're like, oh, I guess I got 20 kills or something like that.
There's nothing like that. Even at the end, it doesn't even tell you how many kills or death. Nothing.
Oh, in that case, at the end, you'd be like, I must have got like 50 kills that round, guys.
I
maybe
played
100,
as the MG.
maybe 500.
I fired at mountainsides or at hillsides. I didn't know what was out there. They're just like, all right, we're going to suppress this area. And I just suppressed the area. And like I knew enemies were nearby. Don't know if I killed a single person that entire. Well, I knew I killed some because like, you know, there's a few moments, but a lot of suppression fire, and it was a tactic. You know, they were using actual military tactics.
You know what's interesting about that, and I never thought about this ever, because even in Squad, I'm always like, did I get that guy? Well, I'll just have to wait till I see the scoreboard. Then I'll have an idea of how many people I killed or something, even though you can't perfectly line it up with like every single situation. But if they don't give you that info, then the gameplay really does just become about the experience of you being like, I think I just suppressed a bunch of people. Maybe I killed somebody. Maybe I didn't, which again would be more like real combat to a degree, where you're not crawling off into the jungle to like get a kill confirmation on somebody. Like, no, just stay in the house, dude. Don't die, you lunatic.
As I said, this won't appeal to everybody, but for the people that are looking for something like that, it's got something for it. Yeah. And I think people will need to keep their eye on this one.
So no wingsuits.
No wingsuits that I saw. Sundance just flies in. Caw-caw!
It'd be sick. I got a whole page of really valuable feedback for these guys. I think they're gonna appreciate it.
I'm sure you send Drewski a DM.
For people listening right now, if you can hear a lot of really cool construction sounds, I'm having my hot water heater replaced right now. And I was like, I called them up and I was like, you know what, could you do it right when I record my podcast? And they're like, absolutely. We can
accommodate you. No problem.
Yeah. So I just wanted you all to know what it sounds like when somebody replaces a hot water heater on the other side of the wall that you're recording your podcast from. Yeah. You know, I didn't think about this, but some people say when they like leave their house for an extended period of time, they'll turn off the water. And I was like, that makes sense. Like shut off the water to the house. Is that like, would you do that? Is that a Matimio move?
because I go outside all the time on vacations. But
Sure,
yeah,
you never leave the house,
sometimes, well, when I lived in the Northwest, you'd have to keep like the faucet kind of dripping a little bit, make sure that they don't freeze.
Freezing. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah. I just heard about the water thing. I don't know how I haven't heard about it. And then I mentioned it to a few people and they're like, yeah, obviously turn off the water when you go on like a vacation or a trip or something. I was like, oh, right.
If a pipe bursts, because if
a
doesn't,
pipe
you're
bursts,
screwed.
your hot water heater starts to leak, and then the whole house gets like flooded and you have water damage everywhere, which is
and no one's there to fix it. Yeah.
Yeah. I got lucky with mine. It just drained out of the garage, so we're good.
Lesson learned.
Yeah, I got lucky. I'm trying not to think about it too much. Did you see? What do you think about? I don't know if you follow esports too much. I used to follow it a lot more. I follow it less closely these days, but
not really.
One of the things about esports that I think made it it was both fun, but also felt unattainable to a degree, was the fact that like you had to be part of like these big Counter-Strike League teams or whatever to like play in these tournaments and like get any name recognition, and to get on a team, you have to get drafted by a team. So you have to like prove yourself in all these other venues and stuff. Valorant made some pretty big news by saying that they're changing up their whole competitive format next year. They're going to have 20 tournaments in 16 different cities, and they're going to have open qualifiers, which means that basically you don't have to have any prereqs for trying to qualify and get into the tournament. So if you got a team, you can show up.
And just show, are you good? Can you make this work?
We could do it, Matt. We could make our own Valorant team. I mean, I'm just saying we could compete.
We could.
Yeah.
Yeah. We wouldn't do very well.
I feel like there's some YouTube content in there, some streaming content.
Actually, I think that probably would make for fun. Show up, all right.
Show up with ridiculous sunglasses.
Boys. Eliminated first round.
Yeah, by a bunch of 13-year-olds whose mom drove them in her minivan to the tournament. Yeah. You're like, oh, dang it.
Deserved, honestly. We would deserve to lose.
Yeah. No, I'm not having delusions of grandeur when it comes to Valorant skill sets. I know my days are long gone in that specific arena.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought it was cool though, because it's sort of, I remember in the very early days of like Halo esports, they would have these big like tournaments in like warehouses and stuff, and like all you'd have to do is show up and pay like an entry fee that was like not much, and then you could play in the tournament, and it just made it accessible, and I like that. You don't have to spend years like honing your skills and qualifying. If you think you're a badass, you can show up and prove that you're a badass, which is cool. I mean, rarely would people do that, but it's like just the chance, the fact that you have a chance to do it, as opposed to having to go through some sort of professional
I never actually
league.
thought about like how you'd ever prove yourself in like an esports scene.
Yeah. You kind of have to get like recruited.
There's streaming, obviously, but then that's not really esports. So yeah. Right.
It's
cool.
It's not a super easy path. Yeah, it is cool. What else you been? I see that you played another, if we want to continue on the Milsimi route, but you played a game that I'm also familiar with, that I've been following for years.
Road to Vostok.
Yeah. Do you get to Vostok in the game? I don't think you do get to Vostok yet, do you?
You can get to kind of Vostok-ish, sort of. I don't think it's quite there, but
Vostok.
I never reached it. I think I went into this with too high of expectations. I went into it because it was getting really glowing reviews on Steam.
My fault. I hyped it up too much, dude.
I've heard from you it was really good, and I went into it like, damn, all right, I'm ready to experience the Vostok. And there's things I like. I find the world to be immersive in the sense of like, I like the vibe that they're going for, like really. It's an extraction. How to describe this? It is a kind of pseudo single player Tarkov extraction but you don't ever really extract, kind of, sort of. You bounce from like zone to zone to zone, and every time you load into a zone, it refreshes the enemies and the loot in that area. You're constantly having to manage like food and water. So when you go, if you want to travel really far out to like the harder areas, you got to make sure that you've got enough bandages and food to last you so you don't die of that and everything, right?
Yeah.
And then you have to make your way all the way back to your base, so you drop stuff off. And yeah, it's kind of a neat gameplay loop.
It's really similar to the original Stalker in that way.
Okay.
Where you might have to head out somewhere and you're like, I don't know if I can hang out there or like camp for the night once I get there. So I gotta pack stuff for like night and day and all this other crazy crap.
Yeah. The gunplay feels really solid. I enjoyed the weapons that I was using. Granted, I didn't use a ton of variety of them, but it was satisfying to shoot them, at least semi-auto, and take out bandits and everything like that. But there are a lot of interesting design decisions that it's probably because it's early access, but I'm like, yikes, this is way more early access than I was kind of expecting. It's a single dude, and I respect the hustle and him trying to do this all by himself and everything like that. But one example is, so I assumed that you could go from bandits to another faction and then to like, up the difficulty from tier to tier to tier to tier. If you go to Vostok, and you die in Vostok, it wipes your entire progress. Your entire save is gone. If you die, you lose everything. And so I was like, okay, but I know that you go from bandits to this other, and then you go to Vostok is what was, I think, basically what the game tells you, or at least that's what I thought it told you. So I am exploring. I'm taking out bandits. I get to the next zone. I'm like, okay, this is still bandits. All right, the next zone. Oh, this is a big open field with nothing in it at all. There's no loot anywhere. And then I learned that was a transition zone. I was like, oh, so the next area must be where all the good loot is, right? Where I can get to tier 2. Nope, that's a minefield with a bunch of mines everywhere and also men. And guess what? There's also no loot on that map. So you're telling me I got to travel through 2 transitionary maps. One of them is filled with landmines everywhere, so I can eventually get to a place that is now, if I die there, all my progress is wiped? Nah.
Just get good, Matt. Just get good.
So the whole minefield thing, it was absolutely baffling to me. I was like, this is not fun. Like, I don't like staring at the ground at invisible, very difficult to find mines with AI that will like instantly kill you. So I definitely was a little bit more like, okay, all right, this needs some cooking. This definitely needs some cooking.
Yeah. I forgot what his timeline was to get from 0 to 1, but just to give listeners a little more context, if you're unfamiliar with Vostok, and part of why I've covered it for so long is that it started off as a solo dev making a Tarkov Stalker-like single player game. It's kind of like a single player extraction shooter, essentially.
Yeah.
And just the prospect, and he did it as an exercise of also teaching and documenting his progress. So it was cool to see his process, and he was already fairly experienced in what he was doing. So he wasn't starting off learning. He was like, here's my philosophy of how I'm going to do this in this time frame. And I was like, cool. So it was really interesting to me getting into game development myself. I was like, cool, this is really interesting to follow. And props to this solo dev trying to do an FPS game, because FPSs are notoriously difficult, let alone FPSs where you have AI that you have to fight and a looting and inventory system and all that crap. Like, you're just adding layers and layers of complex systems on top of each other. So not a simple game to design. And then he was designing it on Unity, and after the first year or two of making it, Unity did their little cool thing where they're like, hey, we're going to charge indie devs per install of their game. And devs were just like,
nonsense. Yeah.
Lunacy. Absolutely. They rolled that whole idea back, but damage was done. People jumped ship from the Unity bandwagon. And so did this dev, even though he was a solo dev, something like 2 years into the project. The idea of switching engines with that many systems already built in one engine over to another is a nightmare. So he switched from Unity to Godot. And Godot is a free engine. It's an open source free engine. They, in fact, got a lot of funding right around the time that Unity exploded. And so, like, a bunch of people funded them. And I think Godot is a great idea. It's sort of like Blender, but for game engines, where it's like a free, open source, high quality tool. Godot's not quite as high quality as, Unreal or even Unity for that matter at this point, but it's certainly on its way. And so he ported everything over.
You wouldn't think so based off of the game, though.
Yeah, so this is why it's interesting, why I find his project even more interesting, because nobody had really made an FPS in Godot before. They were making like 2D, cookie clicker style games and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And so he's like, I'm going to make an FPS in Godot. And he had to make a lighting system, and he had to make all these animation and rigging systems, and like the amount of systems he had to build where you wouldn't have to do that in another engine because they already have the systems for it was just so much higher. So it was really fascinating to watch from that point. But there's no denying that things like his lighting engine and other things like that took a big hit when he switched over, because he couldn't just use the proprietary amazing lighting engines that all of these engines have. He had to like figure out how to import a new one or build a new one. And it was just, So it was fun to watch from that point. And I think he's proven that you can build a competent FPS game in Godot, and he's doing it, I think, predominantly solo, but he might have gotten a little help in these last few years. I think he has
contractors.
Yeah.
And I will admit, I'm getting a little jaded by the whole, I'm a solo dev, but it's like you're also hiring contractors. It's like, which makes you're still solo, but this is still a collaborative project in some ways.
Yeah. And I don't want to put words in his mouth, because I think at the start he was doing it by himself, and then after he switched over, I don't think he kept promoting the idea that he was a solo dev. I think just that narrative continued on.
It kept okay. Well, then that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
Makes for good marketing, though.
For sure. So I'm rooting for him. Without question, the game is a Godot FPS largely built by one person. So go in with that expectation. And like you said, there are some questionable design decisions that you're like, okay, wipe everything and all this other stuff.
Like it's not bad. It's just clearly not. It's very much early access. Like sound, like AI doesn't make any sound half the time. You'll just get lit up and you'll instantly die. Things it's just a lot of stuff just across the board needs improving, but he's got the funding now. Apparently it's sold pretty well. Yeah. I think according to his post, he's like, we got funding for a long time now. So he can hunker down and make his dream game. And that's awesome.
This could become kind of like a pillar game for that engine, where his tech, if he say open sources it or shares it or sells it or whatever to Godot, could become tools that the rest of the engine can use to build off of, where before his game, Godot it was hard to market that engine as a game that could make an FPS, as an engine that could make an FPS, which is a pretty big genre to not have any sort of marketing for. You're like, it's a game engine. Can it do FPSs? Well, in theory, it's hard to sell somebody on it, right? So it's cool. I wish him the best, and I wish the Godot game engine the best.
Me too. It's got a lot of potential.
Yeah. But in the meantime, I'll stick to Unreal Engine 5 with.
Or in the meantime, you can play games like Samson. Have you heard of Samson?
No, actually, I didn't hear of Samson. I see it on your news list, though. What's up with Samson?
So Samson, I can't remember who it was made by. I think it was. I should probably Google this before I do. Let's see if AI.
It's not super highly rated.
So it says. So this is what AI is saying: is that a studio founded by former Just Cause and Grand Theft Auto developers. And if that is true, if AI is not lying to me, the Google AI that is, it is. You can see kind of the inspiration. You play as a guy named Samson, and the entire thing is that he's in debt, and he has to pay off a debt to criminal organization, and he does that by doing tasks. And there's the main story, but there's a lot of side missions that you have to do. The entire game revolves around this little city, which looks great. Like, it looks solid, graphical fidelity and all that. But the gameplay loop is literally punching people and driving.
Sick.
Just that's it.
Can you punch them from the window as you drive past?
While driving, 100% not. No, you cannot.
So close.
So the world, it really feels like they were trying to make something that was much larger in scale. Like, you can kind of get like an idea of when you're playing, like, man, this thing has a lot of like cool ideas of like where you think they were going with it. But I think they had to scrap all of that and just try to make a game that went out the door because they just needed to sell something, and that something is pretty bad.
Dang.
Everything about it is rough. So the driving is okay. The driving has a cool mechanic where you're supposed to like flip other people's cars. So if you like kind of do a pit maneuver on them, their car will flip and explode. And I was like, that's sick. But the car itself starts off super slippery, where it's like, I don't feel like I'm actually in control over the car, and it never gets better. Like, you think like, like you're gonna be able to upgrade your car and get, because you're getting money and you can maybe use that money to get like upgrade. No, none of that. Your car is the same the entire time, literally the entire time. The other missions you're going to be partaking in is punching dudes. Now you're thinking, okay, it's going to be like, I don't know,
punch 10 dudes.
Arc. Yeah, pretty much. Not even kidding. Basically. So you think it could be like an Arkham style game, right? Because it's blocking and parrying and dodging, right? That's all you can really do.
Samson looks so goofy, by the way. He's just like an old gruff dude who's just like, Samson.
With luscious hair, dude. I am unbelievably jealous of his hair. Now that's, you might wonder why I'm so jealous, but that will be one of life's mysteries. Anyways, so if this game was an Arkham style game where the actual fighting combat was tight and exciting, and like you had different enemies that would progressively get harder and bring like different mechanics into it, this could have been basic 25, because like $25, be like, this could have been a nice $25 package, right?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's not that.
Oh no.
Animations are floaty. They break. You'll go for a heavy punch against someone, and then it will break the animation. You're like, why is my character no longer going for the punch? Because a split second later, the other dude punches you, and the game was basically like, no, you can't do a heavy punch here, because then that would break the connection between what the other character is about to do against you, and so it just results in just this really awful, just feeling combat experience. It's very rough. The entire time you have to be getting money for side jobs to make sure that you are not, God, what's the word I'm looking for? You have to pay $3,000 in debt every single day. So you have to make $3,000 minimum. And if you don't, there's consequences. The problem is that the main story only gives you like $500. There's also a action point system where you only can do 6 actions a day. And most of the quests require 2 to 3 actions.
Mm-hmm.
So the main story requires 3 actions, which means that you only have 2 more actions usually that you can make in that day, which almost will never give you the $3,000 that you need. So essentially what they've created, if I've explained this well enough, is a system that incentivizes you to do the side content to make enough money over multiple days, so that you can then the next day do the main story, and then so you have enough money to pay off the debt. So it's basically a way to pad out the game, doing a bunch of side content.
Gotcha.
The entire time. Yeah.
I mean, that is kind of how most games work, but they mask it better.
Not like this. Not like this.
When it's really blatant, you're like, okay, I see the formula. Like, but a lot of games where it's like, okay, you need to gain this skill to move the boulder or whatever. You're like, how do I gain the skill? Well, you got to level up and do a bunch of crap. Okay, how do I do that? A bunch of side quests or whatever. So it's sort of masked it a little bit better, where you're saying this game is more of a just black and white, like do 10 side quests, now do main quest. Do 10 side quests, now do main quest.
Pretty much, yeah. It eventually
The studio is
introduces the
called
mechanics.
Liquid Swords, by the way.
Oh yeah, they are. That is their dev. Liquid Swords. It's kind of cool. Kind of goofy too.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, because I know some people are really looking forward to it, I cannot recommend it. I don't even think patches would really help because it's just fundamentally so rough. Unless they completely redesign their melee combat and driving, yeah. So I think it's too bad.
It
So.
looks like, from my perspective, of just looking at trailers and screenshots while you've been chatting about the game,
Yeah.
it looks like they overscoped for their team size and budget. Because at a glance from a screenshot, you're like, dang, that looks pretty good. That's a big looking game. Quality. You can drive. It looks like Grand Theft Auto. Like you can drive around a whole big old city and punch people anywhere in the city, which is a pie slice of what Grand Theft Auto is. But their dev team, I just looked it up, is 40 people. Okay. This is a tall order for a game. You know, like you don't just make a giant open world city exploration game with driving physics and melee combat and be like, cool, we should be able to do that on a super indie budget, right? Right, guys? Like, and I mean, that's what would fail essentially along the way is all the refinement of that system. And when they got to cut corners and they can't create all those fun side quests, they're like, I don't know, just the punch 10 guys side quest over and over and over again, you know? Because they ran out.
And that's the thing is, I think this could have been something special where if it was an Arkham style combat system where it was really tight, and like I said, there was a progression where you started to fight harder enemies and and you got cooler abilities and stuff like that. And then your car, you could upgrade, and then the car became more responsive or you could have some cooler wipeouts on enemy vehicles. Like, I think that could have been great for a $25, nice $25 game, right? Sure, the side content would get repetitive, but it's $25 and you have your fun and get out. But the cars was really the only thing that was kind of okay. And then just it just doesn't, it's just not good enough. Yeah. So
I'm surprised. I don't know where the idea for a game like this comes from, in a sense where you're like, who are you going up against, guys? You're kind of going up against some pretty big. You're sort of trying to compete with like mega games over here. You're trying to take on Grand Theft Auto. You're trying to take on Rockstar here to a degree. And granted, giant gap between Grand Theft Auto games. So if you can slip into the middle of that gap and release something that's decent, maybe you got something. But unfortunately, this doesn't look like it's it. A little off topic, but I'm curious if you saw the latest gameplay trailer for Mortal Shell 2.
I did.
What did you think of the gameplay trailer?
I thought it looked sick. I thought it looked cool. I was not impressed by Mortal Shell 1. I played the demo and it did not vibe with me at all. Mm-hmm. But from what I saw and from what I've heard from others, it looks like it could be a lot better. So I'm a huge Souls-like fan. I like my Souls games, so I'm definitely intrigued.
Cool. I'm definitely giving it a shout out a little bit because I know the guy who's making this game and he lives like 2 blocks away from me, and I just happen to run into him. But when I was like, "Oh, you're making a game too?" and he's like, "Yeah, check it out," and I was like, "Whoa, this looks amazing!"
Yes,
but if you haven't seen the Mortal Shell 2 gameplay trailer specifically, I think it's like 10, 12 minutes long or something.
About 10 minutes.
It looks really freaking cool. The art looks insane. And I know maybe in a world of Elden Ring and Dark Souls, you might get inundated with some of this dark gothic artwork, but I feel like they just pushed it even further to a degree, with just some of the disgusting things in it.
Yeah, it's pretty gross.
Yeah, but the animation and visuals look really impressive. Yeah,
it looks like they did a big step up from their first game in terms of animation quality.
Yeah, well, I think the first game was a core team of 3 people, and this one I think has got a much bigger studio. So
okay, well, that's incredible that they were able to pull off what they did with the first one with just 3 people. Then
yeah, for sure. So yeah, that looks cool. I think that's coming out. Did it say in the trailer? It might have said in the trailer, but
I don't know.
it is looking dope.
2026 is what it says.
Okay. Yeah. And there's shotguns in it too, which I'm like, great. Something for me to do. None of these timing attacks crap,
yeah, who needs to melee an enemy? I want to shoot him.
I don't want to memorize his attack sequence and parry at just the right moment. Just give me a shotgun already. God.
Yeah.
It looks like it's going to balance it out pretty well, though, where you might be able to like blast the first dude with a shotgun and then you switch over. And I'm like, all right, fair enough. But yeah, it looks cool. I also, I'm terrible at those games, but I'll probably give it a try and put it on some baby level difficulty and try and get through it.
Usually you can't change the difficulty for those games, but
yeah,
I don't want to discourage you from it.
You'll
just have to get good.
The Star Wars games that were pseudo Souls-like, what were those ones called?
The Jedi Survivor stuff, yeah.
Jedi Survivors. That one had the narrative mode because they're like, it's a Star Wars game. A lot of people are going to want to play it, so we got to make it easy enough for normal gamers to get through it.
And honestly, I think it would probably be more fun on the easier difficulties because it actually makes you feel like a Jedi, and the harder difficulties you did not.
Yeah, that's fair. I think I played it on normal, but I definitely got to some bosses where I was like, all right, 12th time's the charm, just like really hitting my head against the wall and some stuff.
Yeah.
But
I think the bosses are totally fine. I know this is a tangent, but the bosses were great because it was just you and the boss, and so the harder difficulty I felt like made more sense. But man, when you're getting lit up by like two droids because they're just shooting you in the back while you're trying to fight another guy, and you're just getting like annihilated because the difficulty is so high, it's like, oh yeah, I feel like a Jedi right now because these two droids in the back are shooting me and I can't do anything about them right away. Yeah, it was pretty frustrating. Yeah,
you're a badass Jedi who's supposed to be taking on these Sith apprentices that are like super good at what they do, obviously, and then like a spider in the jungle kills you and you're like, dang it.
yeah exactly.
Stupid spider. You're like, exactly. how did Master Matimio meet his fate? And like, oh, a spider bit him, and you're like, oh, okay, that's pretty lame.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I played a game, Matt, that I bet you haven't played before.
Okay, all right, hit me with it.
MagiQuest.
I have not played that.
So I took a little family vacay last week, and one of our stops along the way was a place called the Great Wolf Lodge, which I think some people in the States have probably heard of. It's like have you heard of the water park hotels? Have you heard of water park hotels at all?
I'm assuming it's a hotel that's next to a water park?
Or a hotel with a water park inside of it, Matt.
That sounds sick.
Yeah. Obviously geared for kids or parents with children. And the parents just like book a stay there and they're like, all right, go eat candy and ride the water slides or whatever, which is basically what it is. But they had like an interactive game throughout the entire hotel where you get in and you get a little mage wand, and then you go around to different stations and you interact with the stations with your wand. It's like linked to your account or whatever. And you're like gaining gold and abilities and spells and stuff. And then like you'll get to a boss and the boss like owns you and it's like, oh, you don't have the fire spell, suckers. And then you're like, oh, how do I get the fire spell? And then you can go up to like a map like monitor. You'll go up to like a LCD that like, you unlock the map totem and like it shows you where the fire spell quest is. And then you're like basically running around a giant hotel amusement park playing an interactive game. But yeah, I mostly just watched the kids play it, but it was funny to watch them run around and they're like, oh, I'm going to fight the boss now. And you're like, there's bosses? What are you talking about? And then like go over to some movie screen on a wall and they're like fighting a giant ogre with their wand and stuff. And I was like, okay.
That's cute. That's cool.
The graphics weren't bad, if I'm being honest. Like it was fairly high production quality for a hotel lobby video game. Yeah.
Neat.
So I didn't know those existed. Now I know.
Neither did I.
It was like a Wii remote, but with a wand, you know? So you're like, wacha, wacha, wacha.
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah. So, you know, if you're ever bored, you know, check into the Great Wolf Hotel.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
I don't know why it was wolf themed, because it's a water slide park. And we all know wolves and water parks go hand in hand.
Hand in hand, yes.
There was a wave pool there, and every time before the wave system started, there'd be like, howling. And I'm like, all right. Like, I mean, I guess they're sticking with the wolf theme on this one.
It's a theme, level cat.
I don't know.
Immerse yourself.
Yeah. Just like, all you're doing is eating candy, casting magic wands, and then it's wolf theme. I don't think there's any wolves in the video game either. So I'm just like, it's wolf.
That sounds like a great weekend.
Yeah. It was fun.
You sound so enthusiastic. Yeah, it was great. It was great.
You get to a point where my kids really like the water slides that have like massive centrifugal force when you're like going down it, and you're like, I can feel it centrifuging my blood from my brain right now. Like, it's just
okay.
And then like I couldn't let my 6-year-old daughter run around the water park on her own. I kind of had to go with her on everything, and going down 40 water slides in a row, like, just my equilibrium. I was just like, I need to sit down, man. Like, this is too much. These kids
tuckered you out on water slides. You have officially achieved old man status. Dude. Congratulations.
Yeah. Well, I was looking back on like this childhood memory I have where my dad took us to Magic Mountain in it's north of LA, up in the hills. It's the one, if you ever saw that movie Encino Man with Brendan Fraser where he's a caveman.
I've not seen that.
I think it's like a 90s movie. They go to this crazy theme park and the roller coasters are insane. Well, that one is Magic Mountain. And we went on the Viper at Magic Mountain. It might be called something different nowadays, but it was the Viper back in the day. And my dad got in and sat behind me and my 3 brothers. And the thing does, 7 loops and 3 barrel rolls, and it's just crazy, and then you get to the end, you're like, that was awesome. And I remember my dad just went and sat on a bench and he's like, go have fun with the rest of the theme park, guys.
I'm done.
And I was like, what's up with him? Like, dad's just pooped out. He could only take 1 roller coaster. And now I'm like, oh God, I'm becoming that. Like,
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. Some of those water slides, man, it's too much centrifuging or whatever they do, man. But
well, I'm glad the little ones had a good time.
They did. They had a blast. Like, they just feed them. They just pack them full of candy right away.
Well, you could say, hey, no more.
Okay.
Fair enough.
It's a maze, Matt. So you get into the lobby and then the water slides are at the far end of the hotel. The only way to get them there is to go through like Candy Village, in which there's like 5 candy stores, and part of their admission pass is 1 free like bucket of candy, essentially, which they load up in the candy store.
So they just hop them up on sugar.
Yeah. So just getting an admission. You can't
say no. You're on vacation. Like,
exactly.
You can't say no to the kids for that. Yeah, I hear. Okay, I see what you're saying.
So like, it's free candy, Dad. We already paid for it, and we're walking right past the candy. So yeah, immediately candy, water slides, just chaos. Chaos ensues, but obviously they loved it. It was, that'll be a core memory for them.
That's what it's about.
Yeah. Other than that, yeah, I've been trying to get through the last book of The Expanse. You reading anything?
I'm reading Ember Dark, Isles of the Ember Dark, Brandon Sanderson book. I kind of stopped and I picked it back up, so I'm getting through that. I also think I may have told you this. I read the audiobook or listened to the audiobook for a book called Recall that has, what's his name? Magneto, but not Magneto, the new Magneto, James McAvoy. Okay. And he does the entire book.
Really?
Did I mention? I didn't mention this, I don't think.
He's a voice actor. That's cool.
Yeah, so James McAvoy does a fantastic job. The story
What's
itself
the name
was
of
fine.
the book again?
It's called Recall.
Okay.
It's about a man who has some he has some head trauma,
Mm-hmm.
and I won't go into the details why or anything like that. But then he starts to get like visions of murders, and he's like, "What the
Oh.
hell is going on?" And so it's kind of like, why is he seeing these visions, and what's happening? So it is fantastic because of him. I think
Okay.
he really elevates it beyond just a normal audiobook. There are scenes where the character is having a panic attack, essentially, and he is doing a fantastic job of making you feel like you're about to have a panic attack because of his performance. So I liked it. The story itself, I was a little let down by the ending because I kind of knew where it was going to go. I didn't 100% call it, but there was like 3 hours remaining. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I know how this is going to end.
Yeah.
And it pretty much ended the way I thought it was going to end. So that was which is fine. But the real reason I felt was because of his performance, for why I liked it so much.
Mm-hmm. Some of those movies like that where they sound a little, I mean, books, it sounds kind of like a movie premise almost for the book.
Yeah.
In which case it might delve into predictable narrative territory a little bit, where movies get a little too predictable because they're trying to fit that like audience, leave the audience happy narrative, which so many movies adhere to these days.
Yeah.
You mentioned Sanderson, and it made me, I didn't realize this, and maybe I'm just way out of the loop. He's a YouTuber. He's got a YouTube channel.
I watch his YouTube stuff. He does a podcast. And that's when he signs his thousands and thousands of pages for his books.
So he just signs it while he's doing a podcast?
While he's doing his podcast, yeah.
Dude, this dude is multitasking. He's
is
producing so much YouTube content, and like it all has crap loads of views too.
Yep.
I mean, like he did a movie review of Hail Mary, and it's got like a Project Hail Mary, and it's got like 176,000 views. Yeah. I'm like, come on, man, just stick to your lane, Sanderson. Just write amazing books and be happy. But no, he's got to be a really successful YouTuber also.
Yeah, he I don't know how he does what he does. I don't know how he writes the amount that he writes on top of YouTube, on top of now he's got screenwriting for his Amazon shows and movies, or not Amazon, sorry, Apple TV shows and movies. He's a very busy man, and yeah, he kicks ass. So I got no complaints for Sanderson.
Yeah, no, it's cool. And I really hope that his TV show is amazing. Like,
yeah, me too.
Be cool. I mean, it sounds like the right format for what he's doing, because there's a lot of these books, and I think some people have. I would argue that Project Hail Mary even falls into this category where you're like, the movie format's just not long enough to do all the fun aspects of the book.
Did you see the movie? I can't remember if you did.
I did.
I did not. Was it good?
Okay. Yeah, I like it, but it's one of those things where I think you will enjoy it more if you've read the book, because some of the best joy from, like, say, The Martian is the science, right? And there's a lot of science in Project Hail Mary, but there's also a lot of stuff that happens in that movie. Like, there's a lot of plot points and events where you're like, if you're trying to cram all of that into a movie, it's going to be hard to spend 15 minutes on a science project here and there. You're just not going to have the time to do it. So literally some of the book where it's like, here's an entire chapter on discovering some really cool new thing in science.
And they kind of have to glaze over it.
It becomes a 15-second, like, and then I did that. And you're like, all right, there's a whole cool chapter about that, but whatever. Like, I get it. It's 2.5 hours already. Like,
yeah.
What are you going to do?
Right. Well, I think I could be wrong. I think he's doing, going back to Brandon Sanderson and I think there were going to be movies for Mistborn, and I think the show will be for Stormlight, but I could be wrong about that.
Okay.
Makes a lot more sense for it to be a show for Stormlight, because that is, you could not make that into a movie.
I haven't read the books, but my wife has, and I've seen them, and they look
humongous.
Like, yeah, it looks like the Bible or something. You're just like, how much information?
1,000 pages, over 1,000 pages for in all of them. There's 5 books.
Yeah. It's too much. I don't even want to look at the spreadsheets that he has to organize the characters of
insane.
those books. But it's cool. Yeah, I don't know how. Of course, it came up because like, the algorithm knows that I'm at least peripheral to Sanderson and that I like Project Hail Mary. And then it's like, check out Brandon Sanderson's review of Project Hail Mary. I'm like, is this a different Sanderson?
Nope, it's the same guy.
It's the Sanderson. He's just doing movie reviews and he's doing a great job at it too.
Yeah.
Man, just chill, dude. Take a nap or something.
Go too busy.
Yeah. I mean, I can't blame the dude. He's kicking butt on every level. I'll just let him do it, I guess. But yeah.
Thank you, Level Cap.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome, everybody. What's you didn't talk about Timberborn yet, did you?
No, you haven't heard of Timberborn?
Yeah. Yeah. But why don't you tell me about it?
Timberborn is a game where you play as beavers, and it is a city builder where humans have destroyed the earth basically, and water is scarce. Everything's like water is really hard to come by. You find like a little utopia, but you need to now manage your little place by building dams and building houses. Yeah, it's literally a city builder.
I know this. Yeah, but with beavers. Yeah.
With beavers, right. What's cool is they've got water physics where you will need to manage water for your crops. So there'll be droughts that will come through. There'll be
Did you play this before?
Nope, this is my first time. It just came out in 1.0.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So like I said, you have to deal with droughts. So you need to make sure that you've got like a good reservoir of water, that when the drought comes, that your crops have water to drink.
Bro,
right?
Are there robot beavers in this game?
So I haven't gotten to that, but there's like a whole like automation system, and I'm like, where the hell is this going? Like,
yeah, I'm staring at screenshots, and there's a robot beaver on a like zip line or something.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to the zip lines yet, so yeah, apparently it gets pretty wild.
That's really funny. So yeah, in case you were like wondering, can it go beyond dams and stuff? Yeah, like I'm looking at some sort of like futuristic metropolis city with robot beavers and stuff. Yeah, it's cool, man. I like that.
And it's really charming. I'm playing on normal difficulty, and I don't know if it's because I've played so many city builders that I'm at least decent at them. So I'm finding it to be a little easier than I would have liked.
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of like, I'm on autopilot where I'm like, there's really no threat. I've got like everything I need so far. And it's not really pushing me to like, be like, okay, we got to get to this next thing because I need to survive. It's like, oh yeah, there's another drought. I got all this space for water, baby. We're good. There's no worry. But I'm sure as I go along, it will get progressively harder and harder, and then it'll be like, okay, you really gotta push, right?
You're just too skilled, Matt.
I'm just
slapping
too good.
Slapping this beaver game around,
But it's very fun. It's very addicting. I'm a big fan of city builders, and it has that fun, like, hey, we're optimizing like the routes of like, because you want your beavers to be able to move around quickly, but at the same time also getting the buffs and benefits from the different houses and scenery that you're putting down, so that they themselves are more efficient, right? It's got that really cool micromanagement of the city itself, and I've really enjoyed it. Plus, the water physics is really neat because you can redirect water and it will flood or give you like a chance to reservoir, and you can like pump that water to different locations potentially. I think I'm going to get to that here in a minute. And yeah, I really liked it.
They also have dance halls for your beavers.
They do have dance halls, yeah.
Entertain them because, they got to have some fun after a hard day's work of non-trees and stuff.
Beavering.
Of beavering. What would you say the age range is for this game? Because I really want to get a good city builder for my son, who really
age
likes.
Range? I mean,
yeah. Like, would menu complexity be? Is there like a lot of menu micromanagement stuff, or is it just like drop this here and then you kind of understand it in the game world?
It's pretty basic. I mean, there's a lot of items in the game. I wouldn't say that it's overwhelming.
Okay.
Necessarily. I would say the automation stuff and maybe how levies and stuff like that work might be a bit challenging. Even I was kind of like, I'm not really sure. I'm not a dam expert. Spoiler alert, I'm not a beaver. I don't really know how all this functions properly.
Yeah.
But I think like the automation stuff would probably be a little bit more advanced for a kid to be able to, like a young child to be able to wrap their head around. But, you know, getting to that point takes a while. And so the beginning's super chill, and who knows?
Cool. Well, it looks neat. I had seen little stuff about this game before when it was in early access, and it looks charming. And I like city builders.
It is.
It's got a nice, it's really blocky in the layout sense, which I think makes a lot of sense for probably helping their water physics and simulation figure stuff out a little easier. But it also kind of works really well. Like, I mean, city builders work well when you have a nice grid layout. If you start getting into that city skyline 2 system where you've got curves everywhere, things get crazy real quick.
Yeah. It looks janky too.
Yeah. So I respect the commitment to the grid in this game, and they make it look good.
Yeah. Big recommend on that one.
Cool. Okay. I'm putting this one on my wish list, man.
There you go.
When I got some RTS time or some city building time to burn. God, I do love city builders, man. They're fantastic.
Fun. They're great.
I think Zach's game is either coming out of early access or it just came out of the Airborne Kingdom.
Yeah, I heard it was too.
Cool.
Airborne Kingdom, something like that.
Yeah, or Empire. I think that his new one is Airborne Empire.
Yeah, because the Airborne Kingdom was the first game.
Yeah. Okay. So it's still early access, but I guess they're coming out with the 1.0 thing really soon. I think like within, I don't want to misspeak, but I thought I saw him post something about it being like a week out. Or
I want to say you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Airborne Empire 1.0, April 17th. So literally a couple days.
Sick. Cool. Well, that'll be one to check out too. I really like the art style in his game too. It's fun and fantastical.
Yep. Agreed.
Cool, man. Yeah, we didn't really discuss Battlefield. They had sort of that new game mode update, but I don't know if you checked it out or not.
I have not checked it out. I think that comes out on the 14th, I thought.
Maybe I'm wrong. Oh, maybe they announced it a few days ago. Okay. Well, good. Then I didn't miss it. In that case, cool.
You're talking about like the operations where...
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
the 14th? Okay, I thought that was out already. Good. Boy, I came back into it, man. All the news just hit me at once. I was trying to keep track of it all. Well, I don't know if people listening have heard enough of what it sounds like to get a water heater installed, but it takes a while, apparently.
I haven't heard a single thing, so...
Hell yeah, man.
Your noise gate's doing good work.
Dude, I mean, nothing like having a good high-end microphone to kill all of that stuff, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you're good.
Cool. Well, I'm good to wrap up the podcast there. If you are, Matt.
Sounds lovely.
Thank you all for joining us this, technically Wednesday for you guys. Hope you enjoyed the podcast. If you want to think about supporting the podcast further, check out our Patreon link below, where you can come watch us record it live. You can, maybe hear all of the unedited water heater installation stuff and all that fun jazz. And also you get to stick around for a little post-podcast discussion where we go off topic and get into the nitty-gritty things that Matt really wants to talk about. And let me tell you, goes off the rails, but you got to pay for that. You got to pay for that one. Yeah. But regardless, Matt's going to leave you with some helpful advice every single podcast episode. Take it away, Matt.
So this week's helpful advice is always listen to your squad leader.
That it?
That's it.
It's pretty good advice.
I mean, hey, if you're in the thick of it, you got to listen to your squad leader. He's going to try to keep you alive,
Or if their advice sucks, you vote them out and mutiny. Because
mutiny,
baby. I mean, Are you all going to jump off the bridge if your squad leader tells you to? You got to
If
push that
it's for
squad
the
leader
mission,
off the
sir.
bridge. Yeah.
If it's for the mission.
All right. Well, I support it in game context. Go for it, guys.
This wasn't reference to Bellum, the video game.
I know. But we've all had that squad leader in like squad where you're just like, oh, man.
What are you doing?
Yeah. Or like,
what are you doing, sir?
They're all excited to do nothing the entire round. They're like, great news, guys. We got assigned to guarding outpost beta, like 10 miles that way. And you're like, I hear the combat, sir. It sounds like it's 10 miles to the northeast. And he's
the
like,
other way.
Yeah. You're like, nope, we're hanging out here at Fort Beta. And you're just like, great.
Yep.
Cool. Thanks,
Sounds
squad
about right.
leader. Real fun. Yeah. Anyways, that's a little bit of Milsim in a nutshell. I hope you guys enjoyed. We'll be around next week to talk about that Battlefield update. Apparently, that's bringing back operations. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. We'll find out. As always, thanks for listening. We'll catch you then. Bye-bye.
Take care.